Hey NFL fans, this is Gary Greene, longtime sports handicapper and professional sports bettor in Vegas for the past 35 years. And this year Gary wins videos, and this year NFL Week 15, top betting nuggets and trends of the week. And we'll start right off in Denver, where they've covered all their games this year when they've been installed as the favorite. And I would expect that head coach of the Broncos, Sean Payton, should be salivating because the Colts do play a lot of zone coverages, and should be able to set up his young quarterback, Mo Nix, who has looked fantastic since week number 3, to exploit this Colts secondary on Sunday. Next up, the Titans and the Bengals, and for the entire season until a couple weeks back, I was telling you week after week how it was an amazing thing that the Titans could have the number 1 or 2 defense in the league with a team that just was so bad record-wise. But the situation has really gotten bad in the last 3 weeks. Now I see a totally different Titans defense. Looks like they ran out of gas. They're leaking oil pretty bad. And they are now 25th on defense, 25th on offense in EPA per play and 24th on defense in EPA per play. Now they're going to have to face one of the 3 hottest quarterbacks in the league, in Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has been 12-4 against the spread in his career when he's a road favorite. And the Bengals this year, a perfect 4-0 against the spread as a road favorite. So a lot of money being made on the Bengals. Even though they're not a team that looks like they're probably going to make the playoffs without a miracle, they're on life support. Joe Burrow and those receivers that are up for big paydays will look to continue to keep that assault going, where they're scoring touchdowns and scoring 30 a game clip for another week here on Sunday. The next game is Jacksonville hosting the New York Jets. And good news, bad news here is the Jacksonville defense right now, to me, like the Titans, out of gas. They're dead last now, giving up just about 400 yards per game. They do play a lot of man-to-man coverage. I guess that's the good news part, because the Jets quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, is 4th worst going against man-to-man coverage. Now, Rodgers, the good news for him is he had his first 300 game in like 27 years last week. Okay, it was actually 2. But again, he did finally do that. And part of the reason to me is, why did that happen? He was playing in sunny Florida, been playing in a lot of cold and windy stadium games of late. And he had a good day last week, a big one. First breakout over 300-yard game. And now what's happening? He's going back to Florida for a second straight week. So you know he's got to be happy about that, especially salivating to go against this poor Jaguars defense, which he should be able to exploit. The Jets, though, just 3-15, folks, against the spread as favorites the last 18 times in that situation. And they're just 1-6 against the spread this year in that situation. Okay, let's see what we got here. Make sure I'm on target here. Miami at Houston. Tua Tags, the quarterback for the Dolphins, has been on fire. One of the 3 hottest quarterbacks in the league. 70% or more completion percentage rate in 7 straight games. The last 4 games, got 11 touchdown passes, and the big 0, which is the one time you want to have a 0, and that's interceptions. The last 4 games, 15 touchdowns, is 1 interception for 2 in the last 7 games. It's not been his fault that the Dolphins are on life support. If they had this guy in there the entire year, I'm a high on Tua. I think he's one of the best, sharpest passers in the league, and he gets the ball out quick. He's got a nice pass. He's got the receivers. I don't think the offensive coordinator, who is also the head coach, has done a great job this year. But they just seem to get away from what they do best too much, especially this year more than others. But as far as Houston goes, their quarterback Stroud is actually facing a Miami defense that's played half their game using split safety as a defense. And Stroud's 3rd worst quarterback in the league against that type of defense, split safety coverages. 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So you got to take note of that. As far as the Texans, though, they're also bad at rushing against single safety coverages. They're 3rd worst in the NFL there. You wonder why every other coach is not just running 85% of that type of coverage. But there's a lot of bad coordinators in the league, and I scratch my head every Sunday watching some of these games. But for Texans bettors, the big stat of the day in this game is, or trend, whatever you want to look at it, first half bettors delight for the Texans this year. 11 of their 13 games in the first half have gone over the total, best in the NFL. Next up, we have the Colts at Denver, another nugget here. The Colts are 5-0 against the spread their last 5 games after the bye week, which is what they had last week. Really good one here, Philadelphia at Pittsburgh, and really the surprising trend of this game is Pittsburgh has lost 10 straight road affairs in Philly. Last week I was telling you how the Pittsburgh Steelers had beaten the Cleveland Browns 20 straight at home. Well, that was the greatest trend of the year that I'm going to talk about. This one's pretty bad too. So their brother from across the road there is just kicking their ass for 10 straight years. But Pittsburgh is 7 straight wins now as an underdog. One of the most unbelievable head coaching jobs of any head coach I've seen in decades. I mean, how this guy every year is picked and finally not have a winning record, and every year he gets the job done. But the super matchup of the week, Philadelphia, number 1 rushing offense in the NFL, 189 rushing yards per game. It's actually an offense rushing so well that they're pissing off A.J. Brown, and he cost me a win in my prop bets. Now 15-3 this year. I said he'd get a touchdown last week, and now he's finally crying big time. They'll probably get him 3 touchdowns this week when I won't bet it. But this is going against the Pittsburgh top 5 rushing defense in the league, allowing only 91 rushing yards per game. Something's got to give there. Usually the case is the give is against the defense because it's tough to stop an offensive line that's running so well that they're opening gaping holes. And then Barkley's looking good. Of course, Hurts is running the ball well. When he has to, he's scrambling. So scrambling quarterbacks will always up your yardage on rushing totals. But the big news for the Pittsburgh Steelers as well is they will not have their number 1 starting wide receiver Pickens. He is out. So take note of that. Dallas at Carolina, and I told you about a first half bettor's dream just a few seconds ago here. Well, Carolina has been a first half bettor's dream as well. 11-1-1 to the over so far in first halves with the Panther games. So that's a little different than the New York Giants and how they score no points every week in the first half. And next up, we'll talk about the Giants game because it's Baltimore at New York. The past 8 road favorites in the NFL of 14 points or more. This is the highest spread of the year so far. They are now a very not profitable 1-7 against the spread. And we got a great matchup. I wish this was the Sunday night game, to be honest with you. The Bills at the Lions in the afternoon on Sunday, the second tier of games. The Bills now 30 points in 7 straight games. Detroit at home, what have they done? 26 points, 20, 42, 52, 52, 23, and 34 points this year. So, boy, we can have an offensive explosion. And, of course, the Lions makers are not dummies. They have this as the highest total of the year, 54.5. 11 of the 13 Buffalo Bill games for team totals this year has gone over the totals, and I know that for a fact, and I wish I had them all those times. I've been on the Bills team total over 6 times. I'm 6-0, and there's nothing shocking. Sometimes in betting, just use what I talk about often on videos, the KISS theory. Keep it simple, stupid, and you can make your way to the winning bank here way more often than you're going to not make it. And a lot of people just seem to always stray away. Oh, it looks too big, looks too good to be true. Not really. There's a lot of times you just stay with it. Just keep with it, and you'll continue to make money. And the funny part about it is I've bet the Lions 5 times with a team total over, and I'm 4-1 with that. And I've actually bet way more team totals the last few years than totals. I used to be fantastic, one of the best ever in college football and NFL totals. And they just caught up to it, and you got to give odds makers credits. But I don't really think that they do a good job with team totals. It is what it is. And I've turned my page and just decided at times to go with these hot teams, the better offenses. And even though they're raising the numbers a little bit sometimes, I'll go with it. And you don't need both sides. If one side has a bad game, I lost a couple college basketball totals this past week, or I guess it's last week now, but where one team scored in the 90s, and I'm supposed to easily win when that happens, and the other team scoring like 59, having the worst shooting game of their life, and I lost 3 totals by 2 points. If you're taking team totals, you only got to root in one team, but the situation here with this is that the Detroit Lions, when I lost that one game, that was one of my best bets, the only best bet that I've lost on a team total all year. And they had 20 points against the Arizona Cardinals at halftime. I needed one touchdown to go over 26.5 points in the second half, that they were dominating, moving the ball with ease in the first half, and they scored no points. The Detroit Lions had one bad half this year, and it was in that game, and that's why I always have to laugh, because you never forget your bad beat losers. I actually never forget the bad beat winners, too. I try to remember that because I want to have credit. I'd rather win good handicaps, or lose good handicaps, than win bad handicaps, because you're not going to be a winner long term. But I'm still pissed off about that game. As far as the next game on the docket here, we got New England at Arizona. And for this game, Arizona has really been struggling. They look like they had a chance to make some noise in their division. Now they have 3 straight losses. The offense cannot put the ball in the end zone, in the red zone. They're 25% the last 3 weeks. Scoring touchdowns. You cannot win in this game. And the worst part is field goal kicking is down. A lot of missed field goals this year, more than I've seen in a long time. You got to punch that ball in, especially when you're playing 16-6 type games. They make a few of these touchdowns, make a big play here and there, which they were doing for a while. And this is a hot and cold league, but this team's really cold right now on offense, so they got to pick it up. They're down to no mulligans left, this Arizona Cardinals team. But the next trend here is the New England Patriots. Their young quarterback, Drake May, has started 8 games. 6 of those 8 games have gone over the posted total. Sunday night game, Green Bay at Seattle. Green Bay now, no losses outside their own division since their week number 1 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. For Seattle, 4 straight covers now when they have been installed as the underdog, and this time they're plus 2.5 underdog at home on Sunday night. Monday night, we got a couple of good ones. Not really good ones. 2 games is good. It's better than 1. But the Chicago Bears at the Vikings. The Bears are 0-6 straight up on the road this year. And the Bears on the road, 5 unders and 1 over. Last but not least, the Atlanta Falcons traveling to take on the Vegas Raiders here in Las Vegas, my favorite city in the world. Atlanta just 6-14 against the spread their last 20 road games. And that's your betting nuggets for the week. Hopefully, maybe that'll help you a little bit get better prepared if you didn't do any homework at all. Betting nuggets are always a fun tape to do. And hopefully all your wagers this weekend, especially in the NFL, are winning ones. Happy holidays to everybody. Please bookmark us and check out all our videos at Gary Wins Videos. And have a happy and winning holiday. Stay safe out there. Please, folks, don't drink and drive. I lost a good friend to a drunken driver on holiday. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Have a great one.